we're gonna go with basically our zone offense. What I perceive to be a good zone offense against the zone in 2K. There's ones that I like in real life. I like the 3 up, 2 in, but they all have the same basic points. So let's get some defenders out here. Okay. And let's get the defenders in their zone. And then we'll bring out the offensive players in a second. Okay. So we have the defense in their zone. Now, what are the weaknesses of a 2-3 zone? Well, just looking at the court, you can see that there's an opening here, there's a gap here, there's a gap here, right? It's the spots between the defenders. Now, in old school, like 1970 zones, the 3s and 4s were very low, so you could say maybe a little bit here, maybe a little bit here. But in more modern zones, it's not really like that. So if those are the 3 main spots where there's openings, there's also, a little bit of an opening on the high post here. But again, those are just extensions of this general opening, right? Okay. So you'll see in most zone offenses that are geared against the 2-3 that you'll have guys standing in those 3 spots, right? And same with our zone offense. We have guys standing in those 3 spots. Now, the other 2 guys, this is where you see most of the changes that go by different offenses that are meant to attack a 2-3 zone. Sometimes, which I like, is they have this one, this arrangement, where either these guys can switch spots, depending on whichever you prefer. Or the one that we like to run because 2K is a little bit difficult, this one, where the center is up top and the 4-man is running baseline to baseline. So if you play against, now the great thing about our zone that we run, our man zone, is that basically we just man up, right? From this spot here, you look, okay, who's the guy I should be guarding? All right, number 3 should be guarding this guy. Number 2 should be guarding this guy. Number 1 should be guarding this guy. Number 5 should be guarding this guy. And number 4 should be guarding this guy, right? That's our man zone. And so really, when he starts coming here, number 3 follows him. When he starts going there, now number 5 tags him. This is our zone. This is not the zone that most people run. And he's there. When he starts going here, number 5 can continue to tag. Or you can have number 2 tag this guy, number 3 tag that guy. Right, which is usually what we do in our zone. Where one of the top guys tags the high post. And then what happens when they swing? In our zone, if they swing here, number 5 comes back. Number 4 shows, then runs to the corner. And number 1 immediately runs back. Number 2 then guards here. Right? That's how we guard that in our zone. Okay? Now, going back to where we were previously, in this situation, where number 1 had the ball, if he passes, hopefully he can't pass straight to the corner. Number 4 should be able to intercept that pass if he does try to pass it to the corner. But let's say he gets the pass to the corner. In that case, again, number 5 shows. Number 2 runs off, bumps number 5 out. Number 1 runs right back. Number 2 runs right here. Number 5 gets right there. That's our man zone. That's the strength of our man zone. And I think most of us have a great understanding of it. And most people don't run zone like that. Most people, that's a very strange idea. In real life, I don't think it would work so great. But in 2K, it works really well, especially because the zones are kind of strong in 2K. Okay. Now, back to our zone offense. And I'll show you guys why I think this is an effective zone offense. Okay, so firstly, the game that we played recently that I named Zone Offense on YouTube, you can see where and how this zone offense was successful. We had a lot of plays where it was very successful, and we either missed a shot. Like I remember there was one where Hassan got a dunk and he missed it. There was one where Wedgie had an open three, he missed it. There was one where I got a dunk and I missed it. I mean, there were a lot of spots where, because of our zone offense and the defense playing a very college level zone defense, we were getting successful shot opportunities. So here, the greatest thing about this right here is that 1 and 2 are very confused. They're like, who should guard this guy? Who should guard number 5? Because the big man's like, I want to guard number 5. 1 and 2 are like, I kind of want to guard this guy. I kind of want to guard this guy. And so when they hesitate to do that, you hit the opening, right? In this case, okay, you can say number 4, he's not playing up. You can hit number 3, but generally number 4 will play up. So you try to use this initial confusion between 1 and 2 to find the opening. You hit number 2. If number 3 doesn't close out in time, and what I generally think is a good thing to do is number 4 can bring him down, so that doesn't let number 3 contest it, and number 2 can go a little bit more wide, shoot the shot. Or if number 1 and number 2 are still hesitating up top, you can hit number 2. If number 3 comes up, you can hit number 3. If number 1 and 2 again hesitate, and it's based off of their hesitation, right? If they don't hesitate, okay, we'll get to that. If they hesitate again, you can hit there. If number 3 doesn't come up, you can shoot the shot. And generally, guys on the wing should do a lot of like V-cut. V-cuts. How did that happen? Anyway, a lot of V-cuts to block. What does that mean? I don't know. Sorry. I've never seen that before. Anyway, number 2 can do a lot of V-cuts to get himself a little bit open. And even catching the ball out here, okay, you're not a threat. It was interesting to me. I remember watching a lot of plays in 2K where the offense is set where these guys are really high. And I'm like, you can't shoot from there, right? Normal NBA players can't shoot from here. So what's the point of having the offense so high? Even the Princeton offense has guys this high. And I'm like, what's the point of that? And then I realized, oh, it's to create more space to attack the basket. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes much more sense. All right, because then if number 2 wants to steal the pass, because in 2K, guys are super aggressive to steal passes. If you're just standing on the three-point line, guys will sniper that pass, right? Like, they'll pick it right from the air. So if you stand a little bit further back, if they go for that pass, you can just backdoor cut, and it's so much more open than if they try to steal this pass and they backdoor cut here. Now guys are way more tight. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do think it's important for these guys to like V-cut and be close by the hash. You create more space by being close by the hash instead of by being right on the line. That's something that I didn't understand until recently when playing online against other human beings and seeing that, oh, they're really good at stealing that pass. So if you're right there, they're going to try to steal it. But if you're further back, they're not generally going to come up there. And if they do come up there, there's way more room to backdoor cut versus here. If this guy doesn't get the pass, there's much less space to backdoor cut. Number 5 and number 3 are more there. And also, that passing window is much more tight, right? That passing window is much more tight than if you're up here and this guy goes for the steal. You can maybe get a deep 2, maybe get a 3. So I think that's a good spot to be at in the zone offense. Okay, but let's get back to it. So let's go over if they 1 and 2 don't get confused on who to guard. So let's say 1 does the right thing and gets up here, right? 2 does the right thing and gets right there. 3 does the right thing and gets right there. Right? And then 4 does the right thing and gets right there. Right? Let's say they do that. So again, you should have 2 kind of up. You can swing it. See how they react. You can maybe swing corner. See how they react. Do they double team corner? Most people aren't going to do that. But you see how they react. Don't throw that pass. That's going to get intercepted. Throw it back. And then, if they do that, number 4 runs to the opposite corner. Because number 3 will not follow him out there. Now, our man zone, we do the right thing, right? We'll come here. We'll bump up. Say number 2, get high post. Number 5, get corner. Right? But even that in our zone, to be very frank, if a team did this against our man zone, it would cause problems. It would. Right? A lot of player movement and a lot of less ball dribbling creates problem against our zone. Zones generally suffer from that. So that pass could be there. But then again, you have to see how they react. So most zones aren't going to do that. Most zones, like the zone we played against recently, the offense name was Zone. The name of the YouTube video is Zone Offense. You'll see that this guy will literally be guarding nobody. And that's why I have the number one rule. If you're guarding nobody, you're making a mistake. You should be at least, except for the center kind of has to guard a general area. But if you're one of the 4 perimeter players, if you're guarding nobody, you're making a mistake. So, but a lot of college level zone defenses will let number 3 guard nobody. Okay? So then, now number 4 has to make a decision. He's probably up here, which then allows number 4 to be open here, which we did get this opportunity. I think Wedgie hit me one time for a close shot where I was number 4 and I hit this close shot. I think Wedgie had the ball here. So you hit here, and then, you know, he should, in theory, be open. Number 4 bumps down. You can try to engage. Number 5 might pick you up. Number 3 might pick up number 5. And in that case, you can bring it back out. Like, you can post up number 5, create a mismatch. Or if he starts running back, you should shoot. Because again, it's not number 5's. Number 5 stat is, oh, I'm not supposed to guard a 3-point shooter. Then you got options with number 4 to work against the 4 defender. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do here. And it's mostly predicated on the idea that, hey, I'm just going to swing. You know, I'm just gonna swing the ball around a little bit. Also an option, if 5 is playing really back, you can hit number 5. One of my favorite things to do in a zone is to hit the big man, because then this allows a lot of backdoor cutting and a lot of movement from the top guy. Now, obviously, if number 5 defensively jumps down on that, shoot that, right? Most of our centers have decent mid-range. If number 5 is still up, you can create an opportunity. And this is a good thing for real life, not too good for 2K because most of us don't have post control. But guys like Thought here can shoot this post fade, right? That's an option. But let's get back up. Okay. So that team that we played, that I named the videos on offense, I mean, they played a very, very college level zone, very dedicated in what they were doing. So it's generally not a great idea to dribble penetrate, right? Because you have 2 defenders on you. If you're the ball in a zone, their goal is to stop on-ball shots, right? The goal is to stop the primary ball handler from scoring. So you hit this guy. I remember there was one play specifically where, if I remember correctly, the ball was on this wing, right? And I was on weak side corner, right? My job as number 4's job is to go strong side corner. So the ball was there, and number 3 was between defenders. Number 1 and number 4 were guarding ball. I remember this. Number 2 was here. So again, you want to be a little bit high so they don't try to intercept the pass. And obviously, the one issue with the zone that I think zone offense is that number 5 and number 1 are kind of in the same line. So they're kind of a little bit too tight. But the hope is if you're number 1, you're a little bit further out. So, not so that you can catch and shoot from there. It would be good for the point guard for number 1 to have limitless spot up in 2K. Is that what it's called? Limitless spot up? I think so. But if he doesn't, I mean, that's fine. You can still stand out there because if he tries to go for the pass, then you can hit number 5. Number 1 can come down. And number 1 can hit either a mid-range. Number 1 can either go to the basket. Number 5 can shoot this mid-range if number 5 breaks down, if the defensive 5 goes there. But again, we'll go back up. Okay. So number 3 hits number 1. I'm sorry, number 1 hits number 3. And this was the play that I saw. This was practically what the defense was doing. So I stayed here, right? Even though that's the incorrect thing to do. The correct thing to do is for me to go to the strong side corner. But I stayed there, and I remember, and I was kind of confused. I was like, this guy drove on both defenders. And I was like, that's not what you're supposed to do. You guard him by 2 people. That's the goal, is for you to not score with the ball. Obviously, if you can break that, that's very high skill. Kind of hard to do because everyone's balanced built in 2K. But he drove all the way through. The number 3 bumped down. Number 2 bumped down. Number 1 then left. And he didn't really have anything going on. He came through, and I was like, it's just tough from that situation. So that's why it's, I think, really good if you just swing it, right? Number one has the ball up top. Swing it. You see how they react, right? And if they react poorly, you hit number one back, he might have a shot, right? If he doesn't have a shot, maybe the skip pass has a shot. The skip pass is obviously a difficult pass, but maybe he has a shot. If the skip pass doesn't have a shot, because number three is there, that pass is pretty dangerous. I would not recommend that pass. So maybe you hit a V cut, get the pass. Hit a V cut, get the pass. Now, if three is in between, you can shoot it, right? He can shoot that. If three is on there, there's not enough time for him to get back there. If three does get back there and number two is in between, again, you just play off each other and you see what you can do, right? You try to get a little bit of an opening. Number two follows you. Number one's there. Number one's late. You can hit him here. Then he can maybe drive, right? The first thing you want to do is not drive. The first thing you want to do is swing. Then after swings, you want to be able to drive. After swings, you want to be able to create. But first, you want to swing, and get the defense to react to you. One of my favorite options of a 2-3 zone, and this is one that I was talking with Hassan about. Hassan and Faisal both have a paint beast center that has 80 mid-range. So let's say this situation gets up, right? They're in a good zone defense. Okay. If we hit, for example, the wing, we run a little bit of triangle offense. All right, number three is here. Number five is guarding ball. Again, I don't want you to do that. Number five is guarding number five. Okay. Get here. We can try feeding the post into like this kind of spot, right? This kind of like, not deep post, not on the block, but a little bit further out. A little bit like 10 feet out, right? Like that. Is that the key? I don't know what it's called. Anyway, but like, so not on the restricted zone, a little bit further out, right? If number five guards you up top, that should allow backdoor cutting. That should allow cutting. That can get a shot, right? If number five drops down for the cut, you can shoot the shot here. You can do a post fade. You can shoot the mid-range, technically a close shot. If number five doesn't step up, number three might be late. Number four might be late to the cut. You can get an alley-oop. You can get a dunk. We did that one time, and it was successful. Number three was late to rotate. So I was number four. I got hit here. Number five crashed down. Number three crashed down. I went up for a dunk, thinking I could get it. I missed it. I could have hit number five back out. And if that happens, number five could pop up a little bit to the elbow. Number one, give a little space. But the thing is, oopsie daisy. The thing is, when you hit a high post entry guy, okay? No. Okay, when you hit the high post entry guy, corners should be filled. You should try to fill corners. That creates a little bit more space for them to be able to cut. That creates a little bit more space up top for movement for when the zone guys don't react properly. Because if, for example, let's get that reset. This happened a few times in the game. Let's say one was right here, kind of. Number two was kind of here. Or the top guy got hit. And number three was kind of just up. And number one was kind of playing a little bit in between these two dudes. So there wasn't enough space to get the pass. Because number four was all the way down. So I think I cut one time. I got hit on the cut. And number four even collapsed. Because again, these guys were playing a college level zone defense. So number four even collapsed. But again, number three was like right here. Not even on the break, which I think is a good spot to be at. He was kind of here. Right? And I couldn't make the pass to anybody, even though they were technically in their zone offense spot. When the ball enters the paint, you want to fill corners. That way I could have made the pass out here. Number four would have had to collapse. Or even if number four didn't collapse, or let's say number four was already out, when I make my first cut, right, when the ball was here, all right, number four is there like that, okay? So when the ball is here, if he starts going first, now number four is thinking, oh, okay, I need to guard that. Don't let that pass get through. That way when number four cuts, you can hit number 4, and he has a 2-man game with number 5. If he can get past 3 on the cut. Which in 2K does happen a lot. Backdoor cutting 2K in a zone, it's kind of weird. Like, even I noticed my Alpha Pest, I feel like, doesn't do enough to stop guys from just walking behind me. But those are some basic things that I thought are good from our zone offense. One of the basic ideas is, V cutting. Second basic idea is being a little bit more spaced. Third idea is, the corner runner goes from strong side corner to strong side corner. Those are basic formation things. When the ball enters the paint, you want to hit the big man. You want to fill corners. So those are basic formation things. Basic tactical things is, you want to swing. You want to try swinging as much as you can. Swing it, see how the defense reacts. Do they get confused on what to do? Then you keep swinging it, try looking for an opening, hit the big man, do some backdoor cuts, fill baselines, hit some backdoor cuts. Right? Those are tactical things. Generally, you want to start the offense by swing, and then attack. Rather than, okay, I'm bringing the ball up court, and, they're playing heavy, now I'm going to attack, right? Even if you, ISO'd, right? You do a 4-out ISO like this, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. Because if this guy is in a shooter spot, let's say. Okay. Number 5 is in the dunkers. Bro, how do I stop that passing, bro? Number 5 is in his dunker spot. Oh, no, stop. I'm just trying to get... Number 5 is in his dunker spot. Okay. Number 4 is corner shooting, right? Even if you took number 3 to the corner, which then allows number 4 to kind of play both passing lanes. But let's say you did that, right? I mean, you kind of create an ISO situation where it's, the zone is meant to try and stop ISO scoring. But I will say, when we do have Hassan's short point guard, a zone offense, and I guess I can show this because this is like the last thing that we can do, that I don't think is any problem, is if we do get everybody in a shooter spot, and then we just run high pick and roll. Right? That's also something we can do. I think that's a great technique. And I think most pro-am teams, most professional teams, they don't run plays. Right? Most 2K professional teams, most 2K pro-am teams, they don't run plays. But they also don't pass the ball to 4 and 3, 2. Very rarely do they get the ball. The only time they get the ball is for a spot-up shot. That's literally it. And I mean, I think that's boring. I think most of us would agree that's boring. I think it's much more fun to have a 5-man offense. But at the same time, sometimes people think it's boring to have a 5-man offense where, okay, I have to spot up, I have to catch it, then pass it, and then the next time I catch it, maybe I can attack. It's kind of boring, I guess, rather than I caught it the first time I can attack. Whereas I think against the zone, in real life even, the idea is to swing the ball a little bit, then attack an opening, not just bring the ball up and attack. But, yeah, as I was saying, this is a fine way, in my opinion, to attack a zone. Now, 5-out ISOing, I don't think is a great... 4-out ISOing, I don't think is a great way to attack a zone. 5-out ISOing, I think is a fine way to attack a zone. I like to have the 5 up top, but also most people like to play up top because 2K camera. Right? Well, that's a decent way to attack a zone. I preferred the zone offense, but I will admit that I think these are, the high pick and roll, I think is also a good way to attack a zone offense. You get a lot of backdoor cuts. You get a lot of backdoor alley-oops. So I do agree that the zone offense, the 4-out zone offense is good. High pick and roll zone offense is good. 5-out zone offense is good. I think all 3 of those are good, effective ways to attack a high pick and attack a 2-3 zone defense. I absolutely do. And the one that most pro-am teams use, the one that most professional teams use, is the 5-out and the high pick and roll, which is fair. I like the 4-out zone offense with the corner runner, the one that we've been discussing up until this point, because I think it involves all 5 people, right? It requires a little bit more patience, right? Because when you started and, you hit this guy, maybe in a man-to-man setting, your instinct is attack, create, right? But in a zone setting, your mindset has to be, let me see, can I attack? Is the defense not guarding me? Okay, then I can, is it on me? Are they both on me? Okay, then I gotta make the pass, right? So it is mostly like swing. Let's see, how do they react? Let's try hitting the high post. How do they react? Or, oh, no, they came up. Okay, so let me go here. Oh, I'm gonna guard him here. I'm gonna stay up here. well, he's behind the play, you know what I'm saying, then he get back out, you know what I'm saying, then it's playing basketball. But I like that. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching.